The message that I have here is that we're not our emotions, right? That's one. And the next one is that we are not subject to the rule of our emotions, right? I actually want to read, you know, I had learned about a contemplation book before, right? I don't remember where I saw it. And if I remember, maybe I'll tag it in the description or post a comment or whatever. It was the guy's YouTube video. I genuinely don't remember. This was a few years ago, and I started doing a contemplation notebook. It's a little bit different than a journal. Contemplation notebook is more or less, from my understanding, where you start to write out your philosophies and write out your ideas and the things that you believe and think, right? Where you understand why you think a certain way, you understand why you believe a certain way. You start to explore it, change it, judge it, whatever it may be. So I used to do it, stopped doing it, started doing it again. And what I have written here is that we're not our emotions, nor are we subject to the rule of our emotions. You don't have to react in a triggered way to things that remind you of your past traumas. Past traumas are learning experiences to overcome, not crutches and excuses to reject personal growth and development. Although we have passions, we have reason. Reason is what we have to subdue our passions. Reason is the power of the mind to think, understand, and form judgments by a process of logic. So our emotions are upon us in the sense that they are what we feel. That's why they're called feelings, right? But this is not to say that feelings are invalid, rather that each individual should discern whether or not certain feelings are beneficial to them or not. Does it disrupt your peace? Is it irrational? Is it unstable in nature? Does it contradict your purpose? Is it based in doubt and uncertainty? These are very important questions. You ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Ask yourself, where is this feeling coming from? So that's the ultimate essence of this message of this video, is just the fact that you go through things in your past, and you've gone through things in your past, and you go through things in life, traumas, things that have happened that are traumatic or that are very emotionally dense. That's really what trauma is. They're events that occur in life that are emotionally dense, right? They carry a bunch of emotional weight, right? That we've had bad reactions to, that we've had emotional reactions to, right? This is what trauma is. And then things, we're always on the lookout for that to not occur again. Because why? Because we don't want to feel like we're in that same place that we were in before. So this is where triggers come from, right? So then now something occurs in your life in the present moment that triggers that past trauma. What it's doing is triggering your fear of feeling the same emotions or feeling like you're in the same predicament that you were in the past, that you were in the past, rather. If you in the past went through a really bad relationship, right? And the person, was consistently calling you out your name or whatever. Then you get in a new relationship and this new person, they say a joke, right? And you take it the wrong way. Because why? Because it triggers the way that you felt in the past. It triggers your fear of being in that same type of predicament again, right? And so then we have over emotional reactions, right, to these new things that are occurring in our lives because of that traumatic experience, because of the fact that we haven't revisited those feelings and told ourselves that it's okay, right? Past trauma, like I said in my writing, are learning experiences. They're not excuses to turn away from personal growth and development. They're learning experiences for personal growth and development. I went through this. What can I learn from it? How can I learn from this? Because if the actions of somebody if the actions of somebody cause an over emotional reaction from you, then your emotions are controlled by the actions of somebody else. That's not a good thing. It's not to say that you can't feel some type of way by somebody else's actions. It's not to say that you can't have feelings about somebody else's actions. The whole point is understanding how to control that for yourself. Because if my actions cause an emotional reaction within you, I am in control of your emotions. And the goal is to take back control of our own emotions, to not allow the actions of somebody else control how we feel, to have reason, to have understanding. Why do I feel this way? What is it that this person just did? Right? What is the proper action or the proper response that I should give this person? Not a triggered reaction. You don't want to do that. That's not just and fair for you, and it's not just and fair for the other person, even if you think that what they've done to you is unjust and unfair. Understand, we're all children of Allah. We're all children of God, right? So have trust that God is going to deal with his child. If you retaliate against God's child, then you yourself have done a wrong that God is going to have to deal with you about. Understand that God is going to deal with people for their unjust deeds. Nobody escapes the hand of God. Just because you don't see it on this earth plane doesn't mean it's not going to happen. God is going to take care of people that commit, that dedicate themselves to iniquity, that dedicate themselves to injustice, that dedicate themselves to avarice, that dedicate themselves to hatred, to slander, lewdness, murder, theft, everything that harms. Have faith, have trust that God is going to deal with them. Understand? It's like the phrase, you gonna get yours. So you're not your emotions, they're your feelings, they're upon you, they're what you feel, but separate yourself from what you feel. Practice that I do is, the feelings are all here in the chest. I act like I'm taking my feelings, removing them from my chest and holding them up in the air. And I say, look, now I'm looking at my emotions right there. I'm separating myself from the things that I feel, because then you can reason and ration, make the proper decisions. So I've completed my goal of recording 3 videos in a day. Hope this helps. Thank you. Peace, peace, peace.